What's up, everybody? Glad you can join me today. We're back with the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series on the channel. I haven't uploaded in a little bit, and I apologize for that. With the semester starting up again, I've been really busy recently, but I appreciate the patience from you guys, and regular uploads are coming back once again. Today, Coach Carter begins his 5th and final season of coaching the University of Tennessee Martin Skyhawk basketball, with our first opponent being the 15th ranked Memphis Tigers, who is an old rival of ours. But before we tip off Season 5, we gotta talk about our rotations for this season. There's a lot of new faces in both the starting 5 and in the bench lineup respectively, so finding out when and where his players are best utilized, that will be the biggest challenge for Coach Carter in the upcoming season. So let's take a look at that rotation at hand. And here is our new point guard for this season. 6'7" Oklahoma transfer point guard Darnay Betancourt seems to be a Michael Carter-Williams type of player. Seems to be a very team-first oriented guy with a decent jump shot. Jacques Diggs, of course, stays at the 2. And 2 more new starters. Evan Schneiderman, thanks to his explosion last season, he steps in at the 3. Teron Gardner joins forces with Blaine Fry to create one of the most vaunted front court defenses you'll see around the entire NCAA, really. And moving to the 6-man spot is Dusty Harrison, who will see a lot of minutes at the small forward position this season instead of the 2, like we saw in his freshman campaign. And Brian Gill, probably our most coveted true freshman we have, the 5'10" point guard, flashy player from Florida. He seems to be very good with the ball in his hands, dynamic, really good speed, and could be a very good impact player moving forward, can bring some swagger to the bench. He will be battling with Roshan Martin, who last season was a JUCO transfer. He's now a junior. He had some struggles with turnovers and with poor shot selection, so Roshan Martin, we need to see a good year out of him if he wants to retain his spot in the lineup. He'll be battling with Gill for the backup point guard position. Chauncey Cantrell, this is also another new face who should see some minutes because he really showed out in the scrimmage preseason against Teron Gardner. He's a guy who's rode the bench for 3 years now. He's now a senior, a former walk-on, but it could be a good success story if he continues his success from that preseason scrimmage to get some minutes behind Gardner and Fry. So that'll be the rotation on opening night. Of course, it's subject to change as Coach Carter gets a better read on his team and UT Martin hits the road to open up Season 5 against a heated rival, Memphis. And we've taken on the Tigers 3 times in this series. Once back in the first NCAA tournament appearance for UT Martin and Coach Carter when Memphis had the top-ranked offense in the nation and we came up just short in a tight one. Then next season, we put them on the schedule again and beat them in their gym in a nail-biting victory. We've seen a couple rivalries emerge within this series, but Memphis has to be my personal favorite. They aren't the team they once were, but I mean, hey, they are number 15th in the preseason polls, and they're coming off a season where they were awarded the 1 seed in March. So this is still a very scary team moving forward. They also got younger just like we did. They have a freshman point guard and a couple of new faces off the bench. So here we go right now. The all-time season series is tied 1-1. Let's see who will win number 3 and will be awarded the bragging rights moving forward. Memphis will begin with the ball in their hands to start the rematch. And there is Dustin Brockman, a 6'10 junior who was on the team whenever we first played Memphis a couple seasons ago. He averages 10 points per game here in his junior campaign. And then there's Jacques Diggs. Who else but Diggs, the team captain on offense, would get us on the board, as Diggs is coming off his best season as a UT Martin Skyhawk, 16 points per game. He heads into his senior year with sky-high hopes, but there is Yusuf Weeks knocking down a very tough drive. I mean, Memphis, it wasn't too long ago when they had the best offense in the country. Evan Schneiderman open, but no good on that time. No avail on that 3-point jump shot. As UT Martin still trying to get their legs under them a little bit. A lot of new faces in the lineup. Darnay Betancourt getting a good long look at him as this one rotates inside to Blaine Fry. Nice pass by Jacques Diggs. And Blaine Fry will move to the center position this season in wake of the departure of Chris Fay. So Blaine Fry, the first time we're seeing him at the center position. He's coming off his least efficient offensive campaign of his career. It was still a good season overall, of course, but maybe the move to center will help him out and get him better looks from inside the key. There is Kari Claiborne, the sixth man for Memphis, who gets on the board. 7-11 game as this one rotates to Evan Schneiderman, who will get his second opportunity to stroke a tray ball. This one is knocked down. Remember, Evan Schneiderman, his last 4 games of his senior year, 15.5 points, 6 rebounds off the bench, so it's great to see him finally getting starters minutes moving forward. He deserved it after that run in the postseason tournament. Now checking in for the first time is Brian Gill and Dusty Harrison, as those two connect there to be the new primary backcourt coming off the bench for UT Martin, as Harrison tips a pass. Brian Gill for his first jump shot of his college career. Not quite that time though, but we all know Brian Gill, a very savvy player. He's excited. We're excited to watch him play. As you guys all know, he picked other Florida schools like Miami U and FAU to come here. And then Dominique Cleveland, the senior, checks in to record a block. Nice job filling the lane. Dusty Harrison, timeout Memphis. Tied up at 15. We're about halfway through the first half. And UT Martin looks good despite all the new faces. The 15th ranked Memphis Tigers not looking that great to begin their new season. They're all tied up here at 15 apiece with unranked UT Martin, as Byron Gill checks in for his first minutes, as Betancourt will muscle his way baseline for his first basket as a UT Martin Skyhawk, as he checks back in at his native position, the small forward. As we all know, Betancourt, 2 seasons as an Oklahoma Sooner, didn't pan out the way that they all thought he would. Former 3-star recruit, kind of got lost in the shuffle in the rotation, so he comes to UT Martin for a new start, and there's his first basket, donning the black and orange. And then Brian Gill on the next possession strokes it from the corner. UT Martin up by 4. Nice screen there by Jacques Diggs, freeing up his counterpartner in the backcourt. As we check over to Memphis, finally they find some success in the painted area. There is Tristan Sutherland, who averaged 15 points a game, their top scorer from a season ago, as Brian Gill then finds Betancourt with a foot on the line. That jump shot is put through by the Oklahoma Sooner transfer. Nice job, Gill. He fends off those 2 Memphis guards trying to provide some pressure at the half-court timeline. But then we see Tristan Sutherland starting to get it going with a 3-point play opportunity. He would knock down the free throw. He's, of course, their top returning scorer, and he's starting to get it going here at the end of the first half. And then Diggs will find Teron Gardner. Backdoor, behind-the-back pass off the screen and roll play. As Teron Gardner, the blue-collar junior forward, he gets on the board for the first time as a starter for UT Martin. But there is Tristan Sutherland once again. He's up to 9 points, the game's top scorer to this point, as he starts to turn it up a notch. With only 3 minutes left to go in the first half of action, but staying in front, back up by 3 is UT Martin thanks to another nice bounce pass from Jacques Diggs. That's also his 3rd assist on the game. Even when Jacques Diggs doesn't have it going, we all know he loves to facilitate. He was originally recruited as a point guard, but Memphis seems to have cracked the code. They're starting to go down low more. There's Ernest Wagner drawing the foul from Teron Gardner, and that's actually his 3rd personal. So he'll have to check out with 1:40 to go. Ernest Wagner would not only tie it up, but take the lead for Memphis. And checking in for the first time today is Chauncey Cantrell, but no surprise that on his first action on the floor, Memphis actually scores, and then Jacques Diggs with the teardrop, no good, but finally Blaine Fry will return the favor a little bit. Finally somebody on UT Martin crashing the glass, as Memphis has been exploiting us on the offensive boards all day long. There's Ernest Wagner from 3, he can stretch a little bit, no good, but then here's Brockman for not 1 but 2 looks at the rim down low. Offensive rebound number 3 and 4, as Brockman then ties Tristan Sutherland, as they both have 11 points apiece. But Dusty Harrison, nice job on the little mid-range pull, as Jacques Diggs will then record assist number 4, as he actually played some point guard there at the end of the first half. So UT Martin down by 1 heading into the second half of action, as the starters all come back in, including Teron Gardner, who's still playing with 3 fouls, and the 6'7" lanky point guard Betancourt for his 3rd field goal in 6 tries here so far in his UT Martin debut. And then Blaine Fry, who has had a monster defensive day, will then pick off a pass, forcing a turnover for Memphis, and Jacques Diggs finally gets on the board for his first 3-pointer of his senior year. That's his first make in 3 attempts from downtown. UT Martin up by 4, then a block by Blaine Fry. Offensive rebound not happening on this possession thanks to Teron Gardner. as then Gardner will pick up the loose change after a pass was deflected. No good from Diggs. Then he'll also scoop up the offensive board. Then Evan Schneiderman will go to the cup. Nice job there. We all know Evan Schneiderman can pull up off, a catch and shoot opportunity, but it's only a question if he really wants to fulfill his offensive game and reach his peak, if he can put the ball on the floor and do something with it, and that's what he showed right there. Then Jock Diggs, next possession, has a chance to pull. That one's a little bit long. So Brockman will clear, and it'll go all the way up to Yusuf Weeks, who misses the layup. In fact, Darnay Betancourt actually got a hand on it. Look at this hustle play by the 6'7" Betancourt. In his first UT Martin game, he's showing that he's hustling. He got a tip on that shot. Nice chase down block from the junior point guard. And then he'll set things up for UT Martin's side of things. Inside to Gardner. Nice job with the little post move on top of Tristan Sutherland. Gardner with points 5 and 6. He's made 3 of 4 from the floor tonight. 45-41. 8:38 left to go here in the second half of action as Brian Gill wants to go to work. No good there. He's actually rejected by Scheffler, who's the backup point guard from Memphis. And then Dusty Harrison. That looked like a clean charge, but does not get the benefit of the whistle. And after those 2 free throws and then another basket for Memphis, they'll knock things up back at 45 apiece. It looks like we might be in for a very good game here down the stretch, and then Brian Gill gives it away. After that 3-point shot, he has gone ice cold, and then beating up everybody on the other side of the floor is Yusuf Weeks, the starting 2 guard for Memphis. He had a very tough opening half. He shot 1 for 7 in the first 15 minutes of action, but then Yusuf Weeks responds with a quick 9 points, getting his field goal percentage up to near 40% and being the main guy for Memphis here in the second half as the Tigers move to a 2-3 zone. No good from Diggs, but then on the glass, Teron Gardner tips it in. Nice hustle there from the junior. Memphis, though, back up by 5. Still as scary of a team as always. Diggs, tough shot, no good. Memphis has been so hard to decipher when UT Martin wants to drive the lane. Bounce pass inside. Memphis takes their biggest lead of the entire contest. And with the Skyhawks desperate for some more offense, we're starting to see another change in the lineup. Jock Diggs actually playing some point guard here, down by 7 with 6 minutes to go. He's open off the screen. That's nothing but net for the junior. Jock Diggs finally breaks the cold spell. 2 for 6 from 3 on the game, but Diggs finally gets one to drop. 5:20 to go. Inside, Teron Gardner is met with a trap. UT Martin starting to become undisciplined when taking care of the ball here in the second half, but then Brian Gill with the hustle play of the night. He comes all the way back and blocks Cam Hunley, the starting freshman point guard for the Memphis Tigers. No good from 3, but Dom Cleveland's on the glass now. Okay, back in this game. Now only down by 4 as Jock Diggs takes it away. Betancourt to Gardner inside for a 3-point play. Gardner is a free throw away from cutting this game back down to a 1-point deficit. Beautiful job making the extra pass, Darnay Betancourt. His first game donning the black and orange, and he's already showing he likes to make those extra passes and put his teammates first. So, after forcing a stop, Memphis still up by 1, but Jock Diggs receives this pass from the elbow. You already know that that's one of his favorite places on the floor to operate. He'll draw the foul and tie things up after shooting 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Corey Claiborne from the corner, no good, as there's a good closeout by Evan Schneiderman, who checks back into the ball game. With 2:53 left to go, we're knotted up at 56 apiece. And also Teron Gardner comes back in with 4 personals. He'll make the extra pass to Jock Diggs. 3-pointer number trace on the night for my man Jock Diggs, up to 14 points. We're always looking his way no matter what kind of game he's had up to this point. 1:39 left to go. 62-58. This one's rotated over to Yusuf Weeks, who again knocks down another shot. He's at 13 of his 15 in the second half. But Betancourt up to Schneiderman, who kind of rushes that one a little bit. That is not the shot you want to take in this stage in the ball game. And then Weeks delivers a beautiful dish inside to Brockman, as Brockman is one of 3 Tigers in double figures scoring, 62-62. Betancourt. Let's see how he wants to respond in his first game as a UT Martin Skyhawk. It's a pretty big moment, and he's getting pressured by Hundley. He'll give it away. Back to Betancourt as he tries to enter the post to Teron Gardner. Bounce pass. Gardner's met with another double team. Betancourt open for three. Booyah! Book it for Darnay Betancourt. That is a huge shot. We're under a minute to go, and Betancourt already making an impact and turning heads in his first game as a UT Martin Skyhawk. Here we go. The 15th ranked Memphis Tigers on the ropes a little bit at home to begin this season. 43 seconds left. What a way they would begin Coach Carter's last season here at UT Martin if they could secure this upset win. And it's not over yet, but after forcing that stop, it looks really good for Coach Carter and company. That was Blaine Fry's 10th rebound on the night. This has been one of his best defensive efforts in his entire career, and that's saying a lot. So we'll send Jacques Diggs, our best free throw shooter, to the line. He shot 78% a season ago, knocks down the first one, and now here's the second one for Diggs. This one to extend it to 5. Not quite. The rim doesn't do us any favors there, but still up by 2 possessions. We're feeling pretty good. Here we go. Corey Claiborne comes off the bench for 3. No good. Cameron Huntley, though, gives them another look at it. Yusuf Weeks back up to the top of the key. Tristan Sutherland for 3. He will dwindle this thing back down to a 1-point game. They've got to close out the lane. UT Martin has been getting out-rebounded all day on the offensive glass, but here we go with Betancourt back to the line. The front end of the 1-on-1 is no good, but Blaine Fry puts on his Dennis Rodman shoes for this rebound over Claiborne, and Dustin Brockman to go back to the line for one more chance to close it out. Blaine Fry, the front end, nothing but net. Fry shot about 70% last season in his junior campaign. Let's see if he can deliver one more to make it a 3-point game off of a huge rebound, and he does. 7.5 left to go. Memphis with their last chance today. They'll burn a timeout with 5.2 ticks left. So Tristan Sutherland, the inbounder, 5.2 left. Claiborne inside, Huntley outside, Yusuf Weeks, and Jacques Diggs will actually reach in. And that's actually a pretty smart play. Not in the bonus yet is Memphis. So Jacques Diggs dwindles their time down to 1.9 left. Sutherland again the inbounder. Weeks to the corner. Huntley for the tie. The freshman knocks it down. And we're going to an extra period of play. Cameron Huntley. We haven't heard much from him all game long, but in his college debut, he steps up and hits a corner 3 to knock things up at 68. Why was Darnay Betancourt so far off of Huntley down the stretch? They needed a 3, and we all knew that. Nonetheless, we can still keep the upset chance alive in overtime, but not if we can't close down the boards. Offensive rebound number 6 for Dustin Brockman. And there is Teron Gardner with his 4th personal. He is so close to finally fouling out, and Brockman will knock down 2 for 2, so 70-68. And on the very next possession, Sutherland will then take a stab at it from the charity stripe, and he'll knock down 1 for 2. So Memphis, they're up by 3. They got the upper hand to begin the overtime period, as Betancourt will then hit Jacques Diggs wide open from 15 feet. And there's another one. Diggs, despite his struggles to start the game, still manages to find his way up to 20 points on the night. Timeout by Memphis. 2:35 left to go in the overtime period. The 15th ranked Tigers trying to avoid the upset as Huntley is rejected. Diggs out on the open floor. Bounce pass inside to Gardner. He will absorb the bump for his second 3-point play of the day. Teron Gardner, man. Teron Gardner, what a turnaround it's been for him as well. Up to 13 points, and he is also threatening a double-double on the game along with Blaine Fry, who I think already has one at this point. 73-71, 2:22 left to go. UT Martin, they're hanging with their heated rivals, trying to take 2 out of 3 in the lifetime series against the Memphis Tigers. Huntley inside, Sutherland back out. Good job with the extra pass to Corey Claiborne, opening up a lane for the senior. And Teron Gardner will record his 5th personal foul. That is disqualifying foul. And in turn, We will see Dominique Cleveland check in at the 4, knotted up at 73 apiece, and Blaine Fry is rejected. Not a great looking offensive sequence there for the Skyhawks. 1:18 left to go. A basket takes the lead for the Tigers. Hundley putting on the moves on Dusty Harrison, who will give a quick breather to Jacques Diggs. No good for mid-range from Hundley. And then how about Yusuf Weeks then crashing the glass? You cannot let that rebound up at this stage in the game. Kari Claiborne was Memphis' best three-point shooter a season ago, coming off a season where he shot 42%. 76-73, that is a huge blow to UTM at this stage in the ball game. As Jacques Diggs checks back in at the 2-guard position, we're going to put the ball in the hands of our best player, running the ISO. This one is once again sent back by a Memphis big man, Dustin Brockman, with another block. And if UT Martin doesn't force a stop here, this is pretty much the end of their comeback and upset bid. Claiborne drives baseline, 1-on-1 against Cleveland, but instead he'll reset it. Back to Claiborne. 15 seconds left now as we're throwing this possession down a little bit. Cam Huntley, the hero from regulation, with the ball in his hands, pounding the rock inside. Brockman has that layup rejected. Blaine Fry returns the favor. One last chance for UT Martin. 10 seconds left. It all comes down to this. Betancourt, he wants to free up Diggs for the last possession. 4 seconds. Diggs for the tie. It's sent back. Rejected by Tristan Sutherland. It's all over. Memphis. No, Memphis. Well, hang on. 76-73 in a heart-pounding game. Oh man, what a way to open up UT Martin's last season with Coach Carter at the reins. What a game this was. But when it all came down to it, after that three-pointer at the end of regulation by Cam Huntley, I think UT Martin just didn't have enough left in the tank. They got exposed on the glass in overtime and only could muster 5 points in the final 5 minutes. Darnay Betancourt, overall, his debut as a UT Martin Skyhawk was solid, 11-3, but overshadowed by that blunder on defense down the stretch. Jacques Diggs turned around his fortune with 20, and then the double-double of 11 and 14 with 3 blocks from Blaine Fry, one of his best performances as a UT Martin Skyhawk. The senior opens up his final season in a big way. Memphis had 4 players in double figures. This was a very good game to watch. At the end of the day, though, it just didn't fall UT Martin's way. But at the end of the day, we'll go back home to hopefully change our fortunes in front of our home fans. We're starting out the season 0-1, but opening it up with our home opener against the Wofford Terriers and a player that is very near and dear to us, as we'll get to him in a second. Now I wanted to highlight this guy right here, Vic Tuitt, a senior, the top returning scorer, rebounder, and assist man for Wofford. Look at those career highs at the bottom of your screen. I'm pretty sure we've actually played him before because we've taken on Kentucky in the past, and he's a UK transfer. But this is the man I wanted to talk about. 7-foot freshman Samuel Barnett making his college debut today, and he was actually the #1 player on Coach Carter's recruiting board heading into last season. But of course, he decided to sign with the Wofford Terriers. He's a very interesting talent, as you see on the right though. UT Martin, they're changing up the rotation again. Expect to see a lot of this in the early goings of season 5. Today we're going to have Dusty Harrison coming off the bench. He was really good in the Memphis game. And then Jacques Diggs will move to the point guard position as Darnay Betancourt moves to the 3. And Schneiderman comes off the bench after being a little quiet, only 5 points and 4 rebounds against the Tigers. And then beginning this game, Samuel Barnett immediately, look at that post move on top of Teron Gardner. He is a very interesting talent, as Barnett really struck me as a guy who perhaps came into high school as a point guard and then perhaps switched to the center position after he went through a growth spurt, because he is very dynamic, good with the ball in his hands. But look at Betancourt after a made 3 ball by Jacques Diggs, but then he turns it right back over, and then Blaine Fry takes a charge. And this kind of set the tempo for the entirety of the first half, really. As you see, pretty sloppy little sequence there, and that really seemed to spread out for the entire first half. Not a lot of offense for either team, a lot of good defense though. There is a nice block by the backup point guard. That is Tracy Hannon, who is actually the best three-point shooter for the Wofford Terriers. And then Jacques Diggs forces the steal on the fast break opportunity, finds Brian Gill in the corner, no good, but Dominic Cleveland, he's always good for one of these a game, a little putback score from the 7-2 backup big. And this is kind of how it went for the majority of the first quarter. And also Brian Gill, we got to talk about him a little bit because he has not been shooting the ball well. As you'll see in this episode, he's really been under expectations. I believe he began his college career maybe shooting 1 for 14. He made his second collegiate shot attempt back in the Memphis game, and then he's in the middle of a very cold stretch, so we'll see what happens moving forward. But Wofford going on a 7-0 run here, taking the lead back by 3 with 5 minutes to go. Brian Gill, nice bounce pass down low into Dusty Harrison. Finally a pretty decent look from the floor, as Harrison has pretty much been our only solid offensive contributor. He's got 8 out of our first 16, so good job from Harrison, and an even better job by Coach Carter starting him today, because we really need some offense moving forward. And that would continue as Harrison puts the crossover move on Wofford starting big man, adjacent from Samuel Barnett. That is Tyshawn Newell. The 6'10 sophomore had no idea what hit him. Dusty Harrison gets some oohs and ahs from the crowd, continuing to turn heads as he begins his sophomore campaign. And then Evan Stademan, who also looks to get it going after his red-hot end of last season. There's his first tray ball and 3 attempts today. Now Betancourt back at the point guard position. Nice job on the give and go there, but Jacques Diggs, he smokes the layup, and then Jay Bellard will then hit Vic Tuitt out on the open floor, puts some moves on Betancourt, and then knocks down the mid-range jump shot after kissing it off the glass. That's his second basket in 3 attempts. He's been a little quiet today. But as we jump to the second half, Wofford still up by 2. Starters back out on the floor. We'll give it off to Darnay Betancourt, who will retake the lead for his second field goal of the night. He's not been shooting well this game. He's kind of taken a step back since the Memphis game. But now here we go with Wofford as they look to get it going as well. There is a triple from the corner, as Wofford and UT Martin, both these teams really starting to get the offense trending in the right direction. That is until these last 7 minutes of the game that were really decided by UT Martin's stingy defense, as Betancourt then will pull once again for his second 3-ball of the second half. The Oklahoma transfer, some ups and some downs in his first 2 games as a Skyhawk, but overall you gotta like what you're seeing so far. Now we go with Zach Hargrove. There is the power forward who's sent back by Dominic Cleveland. A couple big minutes played here by the 7'2 senior, and Betancourt will then drive the lane. He is so hard to stay in front of with his 6'7 frame and good foot speed. He makes the Wofford defense look silly. And as we continue forward, UT Martin starting to close out this game. Wofford has barely even scored in the past 5 minutes. 46-40, looking for the knockout punch. 3 seconds left. Diggs, nice pass inside to Blaine Fry. Count the basket. Samuel Barnett, who ended up being pretty quiet in his college debut, is also tagged for the goaltending to deliver the final blow. UT Martin shuts the door thanks to a awesome defensive effort against the Wofford Terriers. 51-43 is your final. Diggs and the point guard experiment today didn't work out all that well. 11 and 4 assists, but 3 for 12 shooting. Harrison kind of cold in the second half, but without him, we would not have been in the game, I feel. And Darnay Betancourt actually led all scorers for UT Martin's side of things. He really turned around after a tough first half, and then Gardner and Fry combined for 23 rebounds, and Gardner also chipped in with a block. But the bench didn't really have a lot to show for themselves. Brian Gill, you see there, 0 for 5 shooting, and Evan Stademan was 2 for 6. But Samuel Barnett and a lot of his teammates struggled today, as Barnett against Blaine Fry, 1 for 6 shooting, 2 points and 5 rebounds. Perhaps if Barnett chose differently on signing day, it would have gone a little bit better for him in his debut, but we'll move along. as we then take another game against Chattanooga in a game that we were favored in. Only won by 7, not the most clean game, but at the end of the day, a win's a win. Betancourt really struggled, only a single point, but he played good defense. So at the end of the day, you got to take the good with the bad. Diggs did play point guard, but this was the last game that we played him at the 1. After this, he moved back to the 2 as Brian Gill once again struggled. So here seems to be our best rotation moving forward. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments, but I'm going to go with Betancourt, Diggs, Harrison, Gardner, and Fry. That'll be our starting 5. Schneiderman will move to the 6-man spot. Rashawn Martin's actually been quietly solid so far, so he moves back up to the 7. And Brian Gill, as you see here, 1 point, 2 assists. He's been doing a good job facilitating, but he's starting out his college career, as you saw there, 1 for 12. 0.83% from the field, so he's going to take a step back while he figures all that out. Then we face a top 10 school in Maryland. They've already won a national title in the series, so it's clear that we obviously didn't have what it takes to keep up with them, as we're still a school trying to find ourselves right now at the beginning of this season. Then we take on East Tennessee State, who doesn't have that good of a basketball program, but has 7'2" senior Kerry Jacobs, who averages 27 and 2 blocks. And we would take a win after putting up 55 points in the first half, 16 and 13 for Blaine Fry in one of his best career games to go along with the hat trick, 3 blocks. Blaine Fry, man, he's been up to expectations so far this season. Schneiderman had his best performance, 11 and 7. Diggs with a clean 20, his second time reaching 20 points this season. But Kerry Jacobs with 31 points, over half of ETSU's points on the night, but only shot 9 for 23. And we did a good job really zoning in on him and only letting him be the main guy to put the ball in the basket. But we did not come out unscathed. We sustained 2 injuries, Jacques Diggs and Evan Schneiderman, as Schneiderman will actually be sidelined as Diggs is only day-to-day, so he'll play through it with only 4 days left, nursing that dislocated finger, and that's actually something he struggled with in the past. That's not the first time Diggs has had a finger issue in his career. So moving forward, Diggs will be playing in the lineup, albeit he'll be playing hurt, and Evan Schneiderman, as he moves back to the 6-man position, will be nursing that tendon injury. So we're through the first 5 games of this season. We're still sorting out some of the lineup, and honestly, I'd love to hear what you have to say, what your ideal starting 5 would be. And as you see here, some of these field goal percentages and free throw percentages you don't want to look twice at. UT Martin has had a couple really good defensive outings, but we're still trying to find our bearings on the offensive end, and that's really the next step moving forward into restoring our success from these past few seasons. Been a little bit shaky thus far, had some players not, live up to expectations thus far, but if you stay with me, I'm sure we can figure this thing out, and UT Martin and Coach Carter will threaten their 3rd conference championship in Coach Carter's tenure here. I'd love to know your thoughts about the rotation, what you guys would do moving forward if you were in Coach Carter's shoes. I'm back, everybody. We'll be going through this final season of UT Martin Skyhawk Hoops a little bit faster than previous seasons so we can get back to March Madness, but we got to restore UT Martin and figure out these little bumps in the road if we're going to hoist Conference Championship number 3.